Have you ever really thought about why that first cigarette in the morning feels so essential? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the whole science of nicotine cravings, and what we're going to find is a pretty surprising illusion that your brain is creating. So, let's get into it. Okay, so let's start with a really big question, one that kind of challenges everything you might think you know about smoking. What if that feeling of relief, that calm you get from a cigarette, what if it's not real? What if it's just a trick, an illusion? Well, that's exactly what we're here to figure out. So, to really get to the bottom of this whole illusion thing, we've got to start at the very beginning. And for a lot of people, that's the morning. You know that feeling, right? That first craving of the day. Why does it all kick off the second you wake up? Well, it really just comes down to simple body chemistry. Think about it. You're asleep for, what, 8, maybe 10 hours? And the whole time, your body is working, kind of detoxing itself, and it's flushing out all that nicotine. So by the time you wake up, your nicotine levels have basically hit rock bottom, and that is what sets the stage for everything that comes next.
And this is where dopamine enters the picture. Dopamine is that feel-good chemical in your brain, right? And what nicotine does is it basically hijacks your brain's whole reward system. It forces it to release way more dopamine than it normally would. So, naturally, when that nicotine starts to fade away overnight, the dopamine boost goes right along with it. Your brain basically sounds an alarm bell saying, hey, something's missing here.
Okay, so that alarm bell we just talked about, it kicks off this super powerful chain reaction in your brain. It's a 4-step cycle, and it's basically the engine that drives addiction. We call it the habit loop. Let's break it down step by step and see how this thing actually works. All right, step 1 is the cue. This is a physical thing. It's not a thought yet, it's a feeling. You might feel a little uneasy, maybe some tension, or just restless. It's this nagging sense that something just isn't right. That's your body sending a signal to your brain. And that physical feeling, that cue, it very quickly turns into a mental craving. This is step 2. Your brain takes that weird, uneasy feeling and translates it into a very clear, very loud thought. I need a cigarette, now. Which, of course, leads us to step 3, the response. That craving is so strong, it just triggers an action, almost automatically. You don't even have to think about it, right? You just reach for the pack, light up. It's a routine you've done 1,000 times, all to make that craving go away. And finally, we get to step 4, the reward. And what is the reward? Well, that uneasy, tense feeling, it just vanishes. You feel calm again. You feel normal. So, problem solved, right? Well, maybe not. So, when you lay it all out like this, you can see exactly how it works. The cue leads to the craving leads to the response, smoking, and that leads to the reward of feeling relief. But here's the kicker. That reward just makes the whole loop stronger for next time. It's a really powerful self-feeding cycle. Tough to break, for sure, but definitely not impossible. But what is actually happening inside your brain that makes this loop so powerful? Let's dig a little deeper now and look at the science behind this dopamine trick. Okay, this is where it gets really interesting, because this is the core of the trick. In a non-smoker's brain, dopamine levels are pretty stable, just chugging along at a normal, happy baseline. But in a smoker's brain, nicotine completely rewires the system. It actually lowers your natural baseline, and this is so important. It means you're not smoking to get a high or to feel great. You're smoking just to get back to feeling normal. So that first puff of a cigarette gives you that quick hit of dopamine, right? But it's not taking you on some amazing pleasure cruise. It's more like a rescue mission. All it's doing is dragging you back up to that normal baseline that non-smokers are just living at all the time. The so-called reward is just a temporary trip back to zero. And this brings us right to the heart of the matter. It's time to pull the curtain all the way back and expose this nicotine illusion for what it really is. Okay, here's the simple truth. The cigarette isn't giving you anything. It's not adding calm or pleasure to your life. All it's doing is temporarily ending the discomfort that the last cigarette created. It's literally the cause of the problem and the temporary fix, all rolled into one. Just let that sink in for a second. The cigarette only gives back the calm it had taken away. I mean, wow, that one sentence just perfectly sums up the entire illusion, doesn't it? It's not about adding something good. It's about removing a bad feeling that wouldn't even be there if it weren't for the cigarettes in the first place.
And every single time that habit loop spins, your brain learns the wrong lesson. It's like a faulty GPS that keeps sending you down a dead-end street. It learns, over and over again, to associate smoking with feeling better, when in reality, smoking is the very thing that made you feel bad to begin with. So, okay, we've exposed the trick. We see the illusion. The big question is, now what? How does knowing all this actually help you? Well, let's talk about how you can start to see through all that noise and find a different path. Honestly, the first step is just awareness, just noticing the pattern. So next time you feel that craving kick in, just try something. Before you do anything, just pause. Just for a second. Take a breath and just notice the feeling for what it is. Don't judge it, don't fight it, just observe it. And you might be surprised to find that the piece you're actually looking for is already there, just buried underneath all that noise from the craving.
And that really brings us to the most powerful tool you have in all of this knowledge. Because once you truly see the loop, once you see the illusion, well, you can't really unsee it, can you? So the next time you feel that pull, you can ask yourself a new question. Is this real, or is this just the trick? And knowing the answer, that might just be the key.